Hi everyone, in the last video we implemented on-click listener and created a functional dice roller app. And in this video we will make the app visually much more like a real dice roller by adding dice images and swiping them according to different results. So let's start. First open the project that was created in previous video, then open rest folder. Your app uses different resources including images, icons, some standardized colors, strings, and all those XML layouts that you have been working with. All these resources are stored right here in the rest folder. As you can see, there are different folders for different resource types. In the upcoming videos, we will be adding more of these folders. Now I am going to go ahead and open the drawable folder. The drawable folder is where you put all image resources for your app. Already in the drawable folder, you can find the resources for the app's launcher icon. Double click on this. Note that these XML files describes the icon as a vector image. Vectors enable your images to be drawn at many different sizes and resolutions. On the other hand, bitmap images such as PNG, GIFs may need to be scaled for different devices, which can result in some loss of quality. On the right side, you can see the visual form of this XML file. Drawable folder is where you keep all of the image resources, and we will also keep our dice images here. You will find the link to download dice images in the description below. After downloading it, you will have a zip file like this. You just need to unzip it. After unzipping it, you will have a folder like this. Now in Android Studio, I'm going to change this Android view to project view. And now I'm going to open this folder and then app folder and then the source folder, then main and then rest for resources and then this drawable folder. Now I'm going to drag all of these files that I downloaded to the drawable folder. And just click refactor. Make sure you drop all of the files in the drawable folder, not in the drawable v24. We will talk about this folder and what it does in later videos. And also do not include the dice images folder itself, just include the files in it. Now I'm going to switch to Android view from this project view. Now you can click on this dice_1.xml file and you can see what image this XML is generating. Now that we have dice images in our rest drawable folder, we can access those files from app's layout and code. And now we are going to replace the text view that displays number to a image view to display images. For that we are going to open activity main.xml. First I am going to delete this text view and replace it with a image view and keep the width and the height as wrap content. Let me also end the tag here. And then we are going to add layout gravity and set it to center horizontal. Still we haven't specified which image to use. For doing that, write Android source and then @drawable slash, you can select this dice_1 option, and now you can see the image has been added to the layout preview in the right side. What we did here is told the Android Studio to look for the device_1 image in the drawable folder. And finally, as we are going to dynamically change the image view, we need to add a ID to the image view. I will name it dice_image. So we are done here. Now I am going to close this and open main activity. So back to our role device function. We no longer have this text view, so I am going to remove this from here. And we also don't have this variable now, so I am going to remove this here. Now let's get the image view that we just created. I am going to write val dice image, which should be a image view, and set it to find view by id, and we'll pass the id that we just created. Select this. Now we have reference to the image view. Now we just need to display images based on this random number generated up here. If the random number is 1, we should show dice image 1. If the random number is 2, we should show dice image 2, and so on. In Kotlin, we can do this easily using a when expression. The when expression looks like this, and I can create a variable called drawable resources and set it equal to the when function. So when the random int is 1, I'm going to get dice underscore 1 image, and when it is 2, I'm going to get dice underscore 2 image, and so on. Now down here, I'm going to use this dice image to call set image resource. It takes a resource ID, so I'm going to pass this drawable resource variable that we created up here, which has the randomly decided resource ID. Now let's run the app. Now if you click the roll button, you will see randomly generated images here, which is awesome. Everything works fine, but there's more to developing apps than just writing code that works. You should also understand how to write performant and well behaving apps. That means your app should run well, even if the user doesn't have the most expensive Android device or the best network connectivity. Your apps should always continue to run smoothly as you add more features, and your code should be readable and well organized. In the roll dice method, focus on this line. Whenever the roll dice method is called, your app calls find view by id and gets another reference for this image view. Ideally, you should minimize the number of calls to find view by id because the Android system is searching the entire view hierarchy each time, and that's an expensive operation. In a small app like this, it's not a huge problem. But when you are running a more complicated app in slower device, continuously calling find view by id could cause your app to lag. Instead, it is a best practice to call find view by id once and store the view object in a field. Keeping the reference to the image view in a field allows the system to access the view directly at any time, which improves the performance. So now I'm going to go up here and create a field for this image view. I will write var dice image, and it will be an image view. Now ideally you would initialize this variable up here when it's declared or in a constructor, but Android activities don't use constructors. In fact, the views in the layout are not accessible objects in the memory at all until they have been inflated in the onCreate method by calling setContentView. One option is to define the device image variable as nullable. Set it to null when it's declared, but this will really complicate our code because now you have to check null value every time you want to use the dice image. Better way of doing this is to use lateinit keyword and removing the null assignment. The lateinit keyword promises Kotlin compiler that the variable will be initialized before the code calls any operation on it. Therefore, we don't need to initialize the variable to null here, and we can treat it as a non-nullable variable whenever we use it. It is a best practice to use lateinit with fields that holds view in it. Now we are going to go down here and set up our dice image and set it equal to find view by id and pass the dice image id. So now we are going to go down here and remove this line. So now we are using dice image field instead of the dice image local variable. So now let's run the app and see what happens. And now if you click the roll button, it works exactly the same, but the code is quite efficient now. So that's it for now. If you're facing any Android related problems, feel free to reach me out in my Discord server. You can find the joining link in the description below. And if you like this video and want to watch more programming videos like this, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, and see you in the next video.